Mike, welcome to a Gooners podcast. You skinny son of a bitch. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. I'm Baconator free for 3 weeks.
You're down how many pounds? 15?
No, I'm down almost 2 stone.
Wow.
In 3 weeks, and just imagine how fat I was 3 weeks ago, James. But let's not focus on that. It's a work in progress. But Andy, we made it. We didn't get sacked in the middle of the season.
We didn't.
Andy and Mike are at the wheel, apparently.
Yeah.
Belated Mother's Day, by the way.
Oh, hey, some of us are fathers and mothers.
That's true.
I got to teach my wife how to cook, and then I won't be the mother.
Oh, jeez. I hope you gave her some of your pedicure memberships. And the last thing I wanted to check before we introduce our guest, did your mom get my card?
Oh, she did not, no.
Well, don't check the mail today because your mailbox will smell like my natural.
She did roast you pretty
musk.
good, though, because Mike sent a picture of himself as a woman, and my immediate response was to throw up, and I showed it to my mom and my wife, and my mom went, "He actually looks better as a woman."
Gotta love Snapchat filters. Anyway, let's without further ado, let's introduce our fantastic guest today. You may know him as James McNicholas. You may know him as Gunnerblog. He last joined us over a year ago. Mr. Blog, thanks for coming back on with us.
Oh, thanks. I'm sorry it's been so long. It's great to be back.
Well, we hadn't asked you, so it really is maybe a couple years. So, if you had just shown up in the middle of a pod we were doing with someone else, that would have been fine, but it would have been a little weird.
It would have been rude,
James. Yes, James, of course, is among other things, a football writer, a comedian, a Nobel Peace Prize winning chemist, and one of the world's most respected philatelists. I don't know if you know this. Most philatelists don't get the respect they deserve, but my God. And in his spare time away from these pursuits, he also stars as the more Englishly half of the Arsblog Arscast Extra podcasts. Would it be correct to say Andrew is the Arscast part and you're the extra? Is that how it works? I
like to think that that's my role, that I bring something extra to proceedings, yeah.
And I say that in a good way because I have a 17-year-old daughter, and apparently at least in the States, the word extra can have a negative connotation. I mean, I don't know if
you're
really? Familiar with
I'm
this. Yeah.
So old that I wouldn't know that.
So am I. We're old AF, but apparently extra means trying too hard, over the top, excessive, maybe a little dramatic.
That does sound a bit like my contribution to the podcast, actually. So yeah, I think I am the extra.
Doing more than the situation calls for, often a little inappropriate. Like if someone's laughing really hard at all your jokes and it's unnatural and too much, your jokes aren't that funny, you might say he's so extra. So I think you're great, but you may want to ask Andrew what's going on there.
I need to stop laughing so much at his jokes, it sounds like.
Yeah, you can be totally extra on our podcast if you want. We actually do that.
Cool.
Andy, what is your favorite individual non-team sport?
Tennis.
No. What do you talk about all the time at like 10 o'clock at night because it's about to start?
Masturbation.
It's all right. Your favorite sport, I have to tell you, is boxing.
Oh yeah. Sorry,
you do love the boxing.
I do.
And which of your past relatives was a world champion boxer? Was it your aunt or
not? Well, my grandma threw a mean right hook, but I don't ever think she became a world champion.
Your wife throws a mean right hook as well, by the way.
She does. She does.
Let's just say co-hosting a podcast is the only thing you do, and James, it's the only thing that you and James have in common because his grandfather could and probably did kick your grandfather's ass. James, tell us a little. I'm obviously getting at something here. Tell us a little bit about your family history, and the reason I'm bringing it up because it isn't just to disrespect Andy. It's because you have a comedy tour that is in the works or about to get started.
Yeah.
And it looks fascinating. Tell us about it.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm just in previews at the moment, and there's a bit of touring going on. It will be more so later in the year, but it's a show about my grandfather who, was a world champion boxer. He was middleweight champion of the world in 1961. And it's basically his story, but sort of contrasted with my own story. It's sort of about his his exploits and his bravery, and a bit about my cowardice. And yeah, it's been really fun actually working on it, because it's obviously something I know a bit about, but I've had to research a lot more into it and sort of find out things about his career, things about his life that I didn't necessarily know. And yeah, it's been really fun.
Well, take a look. We'll talk at the end of the podcast about how we can find more information about it.
Yeah, sure.
While I may be unable to attend, I would love to attend by proxy through some of our British listeners, because it sounds like a fantastic show. The website says that it may contain strong language.
Correct.
And I'm not going to ask you to spoil the show and do like a piece from it, but could you just give us a taste of which specific dirty language it's gonna contain? I mean, is there like a fuck or a couple shits? I mean, what's in there?
Oh, there's a couple of fucks. But there's no.
Are they evenly spread out through the show?
Yeah, I try and spread them. Just
was there a part that we should show up?
Yeah, for? I don't want to give it all away early on, so I make them wait. And then the last word of the show is a cunt. I finish on a cunt because
I was going to ask you if there's any C-bombs. I mean, you got to finish on a cunt.
Actually, that's the encore. I come back on and just say that, and people go.
That's how Joe. That's how Andy had his son. I mean, he way better. I have to remember I'm in my office. I'm usually in my basement, so I just scream that out, and there are people looking at me through the door now. So. The FBA awards, just want to quickly announce, Andy, we finished second place again.
Always the bridesmaid, Mike.
Yeah, it has to be second because we didn't win, and obviously we didn't finish 10th. So
no.
If there was a category for second best international content creator, we would have won it. I'm exhausted after the last 2 years of finishing second. I think we're done with the FBAs.
Yeah, fuck that award.
Well, other than the fact that I think Andrew won an award. I think that was appropriate. But unless they create the category top football podcast in Mozambique or football podcast closest to 50% hosted by a fat Jew,
we're half fat Jew. Come on,
we're gonna win that next year. So anyway, thank you on a serious note to everybody that voted for us, everybody that took their time and effort in 30 seconds to try to help us win. We appreciate it. We gave it a good run. So chat out to the chat out. Actually, I think I'm going to use that from now on. Michael Hernandez is here, even though he said he wouldn't be. We got Jonas from Belgium. Joey Murphy, the legend himself, is in the chat. Happy birthday to Ryan Cost, who's in there and is licking his wounds over a Colorado Avalanche loss. Becca's in the chat, brightening the place up. Lulu is in there, Carlito, and Carrie McCollum. So thanks. Give us a thumbs up if you would. Only 3 of you have so far, and that's fine if only 3 of you are enjoying this. So